I don't know if that's even in the thoughts of what you guys are thinking or not. But the thing about what I would say what Duffy's in, it's kind of a dicey situation because if he doesn't have you in there, okay, maybe that's what he presents to whoever's going to end up watching it. And maybe some people won't really know what actually went on. But the problem is if he doesn't put you in there, I would think for him, if he doesn't put you in there, then now he's in a situation where there's just like rumors galore. Like, wait, there was this other guy that he wasn't put in the documentary. And wait, he didn't flip to the globe. Why didn't he flip to the globe? You know, like that almost might bring more attention against what he wants because everyone's going to be like, what, you know, of what went on there. And there'll be tons of, you know, now some people might not look into that. They might just kind of see the surface movie. But yeah, that's a huge like risk on his end. And overall, it just seems like at least to keep it within some level of integrity, it seems like you guys should all be able to be represented, at least for your positions, you know, ideally.
And they also can't really like revise history, right? Like if anyone watches it and then wants to go look at the YouTube, like they're gonna see me in that live stream where everyone talks for a little bit. They're gonna see, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna be like, wait, why is he not in that? So the other thing is, right, obviously, if it works the way they want it to and someone actually buys it and then quite a few people see it or whatever, then as long as I am online active, like accurately representing FE at that point, like there's an argument to be made. It's a net positive for Flat, right? Because then it's like all these new eyes come hear the real argument. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like I don't like I'm just telling you that I don't think that what you just said is why he wants to put me in it at all, because he got super pissed whenever I like put my foot down about the trailer. And I didn't say to change the trailer. I said I can just tell this is being positioned as though it's like it's final and definitive. I'm not going to be in a documentary that does that because that's not my position. That's not, you know, it's being presented as though we all agree this would definitively prove it once and for all. That isn't what happened, and I'm not going to be in a documentary that does that. I'm not going to be in a film that does that. And so Duffy got triggered and was like, fine, screw him, just take him out. We're just not going to put him in at all.
Yeah, but okay, so you're saying that it doesn't seem like he's concerned of taking you out, that it'll be a kickback, but maybe that was like, I don't know what scenario that was, but if he was angry in the moment, but whether he ends up listening to this recording or hears this idea, but that's the thing. Well, he already would probably be thinking this, like what the kickback obviously would end up being. It's not like he wouldn't have thought of that, but you're saying, yeah, it doesn't seem like he cares.
Well, he can't really whine about me talking about this right now. He went online and talked about it, you know what I mean? Like, and started saying that we're going to use it anyway. I haven't listened to it. Someone came to me and told me that he basically said that they're going to put me in it anyway or something like that, whether or not I agree, which is insane.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm just not like a litigious guy, you know what I mean? Like, there's a certain group of people that love to do that. I'm not one of those people. So, I would prefer to not do that in general. But, I mean, if I had
so
to,
the worst case is that they put you in there and misrepresent you, and it's a hit piece. I'm just saying the worst case, and then you would either have legal recourse or just completely have that out there. Would it be?
And that would be so stupid for them to do that, especially if they try to sell it to someone else, because they're going to sell it to someone else, and then if I win the lawsuit, they won't be able to publish it.
Oh shit!
And maybe that's the benefit.
Well, and you would never have to ask anybody for money again if you got a big chunk out of them. It's a pro.
Yeah, depending on what they determine the damages were or whatever. Yeah.
Sounds like they're gambling.
The thing is the way that people deal with that, the way like they just they file motions to drag it out and hope you can't fund it. Right? Like to get through the suit to the money, to the judgment or settlement, you have to pay to get there. And when it comes to like civil law, like representing yourself is a terrible idea, because you're just dealing with a bunch of Jews that like live for this and know every conceivable loophole, and you can be completely right. I mean, it's typically Jewish people that, like, anytime I've talked to an attorney about a civil lawsuit, dude, it's like insane. It's an insane world where like there's so many loopholes, there's so many, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not, I wouldn't be confident defending myself. Maybe there would be someone that would do it pro bono, or depend on the jurisdiction and all this, but
I got a flat earth.
They would bank on.
I got a flat earth lawyer that's badass, dude.
I was gonna say, isn't your lawyer that you have a flat earther?
I'm talking about the jurist. jurisdiction, right? Yeah, like but he's in Maryland, right? I don't know
No,
what the
my buddy's
jurisdiction
in
is.
Cali. I don't know. I don't know if he's licensed in. Well, what state would it be in? If it was like a Netflix or something.
Well, that's a good question, right? Like I was in Florida when I signed it. Obviously, it's interstate, so it maybe would be. I don't know how that works. And then, like, obviously, the film is being edited in California, so I would like to link up with the guy just in general, because yeah,
Yeah,
anytime that
I
there's like a
DM'd you
good
not that
FE
long ago.
attorney,
I'll send you another one. To
okay.
that point, one of my buddy who lives in North Carolina was just hitting me up and asking me to travel there for a few weeks to work for him because he's so busy. So if you did need work up there to get out of Florida, just let me know. But yeah, the other thing I was thinking when you were saying how you didn't want to be in the film, it was also probably rough to be sick, to be tired, and to be the only one with a young family at home that you left. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the other part of it that I really messed up on was I was still just thinking like, dude, there's something that's gonna happen, that the trip's gonna get canceled or something, you know? And because I was the one that was the most difficult with them, they weren't really updating me on anything. And so then when it was actually like the day before, I'm like, oh, so I packed everything the night before. I literally pulled an all-nighter and packed everything like an all-nighter. And then we traveled for freaking 25 hours or whatever, and like couldn't really sleep on the plane. And then when we got to Punta Arenas, we stayed up to see what the sun was going to do. And the sun was coming through the window, and pulled back to back all-nighters. Basically had like 2 3 hours of sleep one night. Then when we landed, obviously because it was so clear, we immediately went, to set everything up, and then it was like what, 30 something consecutive hours, and I got a couple hours of sleep there. So I felt like terrible. I was like delirious and felt terrible, and then that's why I started feeling sick and whatever. That's my fault, I guess, but that's how that went down. I was like had no sleep multiple days before we got to Antarctica.
And you had to share a room with Jaren, right? I remember you telling us this on the stream at some point.
Yeah, yeah. And then when you sleep there, it's not like luxury, bro. It's like, like you have to like be buried in a what's it called, sleeping bag with a bunch of layers on. You wake up like drenched in sweat. The wind is crazy loud outside. You're in a little bitty tent with another person. um yeah, whatever. But
It's rough.
yeah, but
Not
who knows,
Hello,
man.
Witsit.
I watched it. It could have been worse. So
Hey, Witsit, you remember me?
no.
Yeah, we were flat smacking before the pandemics.
Is that George? It sounds like George.
No,
Flat smacking where?
in 24/7 Flat Earth.
Oh, that's
Oh, okay.
GetBeGet.
The old one, yeah. Well, you got quite a long way. I want to ask you something, please.
Mhm.
Was it Jaren that was proposed to be the one making this expedition, and he took you with him?
Yeah. Yeah, basically what happened was Jaren like started agreeing to it, and
Yeah,
then yeah, he was like wanting someone to go with him, and so I was like, well, if I don't go, who's gonna go? Because if they go do the
yeah,
trip without someone, I mean, that didn't
yeah,
work anyway, right? I mean, there you can't name a person in Flat Earth that could have gone that wouldn't have got crucified, if you're gonna be honest.
yeah.
Whoever went was
But
gonna get crucified.
he's the one who did the
Made it a
signing
thing.
with the
Well, we both
guys.
signed. Like I wrote the contract. We both ended up signing, but it was him that like he agreed to it, and then kind of ended up saying if Austin goes, and so then it was all kind of down to me. And if I turned it down,
Yeah,
then I thought like, well, they're just gonna go get two fill-in quote unquote flat earthers, and I was
yeah,
worried about them flipping but not being legit. And like honestly, in hindsight, I was proven right because Jaren flipped. So like, if I didn't go, you would have just had a bunch of flat
yeah.
earthers that
But
flipped.
uh, there could be that they have another contract between them and Jaren, which you don't know of.
Maybe.
Could be this. Yeah, so then it means he might have been signed something which is problematic.
Well, it doesn't really matter, right? Because he flipped. He flipped, so he's gonna, he doesn't care to let them use it anyway, I would imagine.
Well, I will say they only needed him to be flipped.
Well, I thought that too, but then I got to see it. So like you take me out of it, it's 1/10 as entertaining.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying that from any not like any arrogance or anything like that. It's just that's the way the trip went down, right? Like I was the one everyone was trying to debate. I'm the one that called McToon out and said, "Fine, we just won't go." Right the day before, I'm the one that like they were debating while we were in Antarctica, right? Like I'm the one that has this huge history with McToon leading up to it, etc. Right? So like if you pull that storyline out, I mean, I don't know. They don't really have much. They have Jaren. They have Jaren like flipping, but it's like, I'm obviously saying too much, but like, you may be surprised how small of a portion he plays in it. It's like it doesn't even make a big point about that. Actually, it doesn't even make a big point about him flipping. Like, actually, you wouldn't even leave knowing he did flip.
I see.
It does. It will just validate the point. The first video that he made that the Globers are still using. They are not using TFE. They are using that video that were filmed in during the night where you don't see anything, where he put those boards with the holes on it and the non-laser, the lamp torch. And when he asked the guy to lift his, I don't believe anything of that because I didn't see anything. I just heard what they said. Nothing were visible there. It was pitch black. You don't see the guy holding the torch, and you don't see the guy having to lift his hand to up above his head. It's just Jaren who said it. Just like that, explicitly said, "Oh, he have to lift his head up way above his head."
You're talking about behind the curve. I mean, there like Geo was there. There were a lot of flat earthers there.
Interesting.
We'll just confirm that video. So no one is using TFE. They are just still using.
No one uses behind the curve, dude. That's so old, man. No one uses that. I guarantee you that when the TFE documentary comes out, that people will use clips from it.
Believe me, I'm with the guys in the other servers in politics, the 24/7 flat Earth server. Yeah, and there is many guys who are still using behind the curve argument. And I had just one guy the last week using the same argument.
Yeah, but it's retarded, right? Because like what actually happened was it was like in between the globe and flat prediction, and the documentary lies about all of it. So I mean, whatever. I mean, that's old news, right? I mean,
I know, and I stopped believing in Jaren since that moment. So,
well, that's cool. I mean, I just know Jaren. I know Jaren on a personal level, man. So you can think what you think from the outside. I know him on a more personal level, right? Like he even agreed to consider refusing to be in it, even though he flipped. So I mean, I get that a lot of people have conspiracies about Jaren. I get it, but I think Jaren puts way too much weight on models and like tied his understanding of flat Earth to a model, which is not smart, and that kind of crumbled.
No, it's Jaren could when he were flat when he claimed to be flat earther. He were able to explain the rotation of the stars around center point in the south. and he were just defending flat Earth, while some people were using that as an argument against flat Earth. So did nothing change when you went with TFE? It's just another star, isn't it? The sun isn't another star among the stars that is doing the same thing as the stars are doing. So what changed? You were able to argue against that.
Why are you asking me like I changed my
No, 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 no.
position?
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Sharon. I'm not. I'm not
Yeah, I
even
don't know,
asking.
brother. I
I'm
mean,
just
yeah,
stating what
to
happened.
him,
It's the
him,
fact
the
that
sun's a
happened.
big deal because it's not the same as another star because obviously we have daytime on the Earth, right? And people have daytime at certain times. So his whole thing is that if it's moving over top of a flat Earth, it has to get over there to Australia, and it's supposed, and if we see it just doing a circle over here, he's like, how does that make any sense? Whatever. Obviously, I don't agree with them, right? Like we already have modeled it out. We've literally modeled it out. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that if you put a dome over a flat Earth and move the light in a circle, that you get a random apparent sun over in the corner along
A
the edge
hollow
that does a circle the
projection, yeah.
opposite direction. And I certainly don't care what Glovers have to say about it because they're retarded, but it does in fact make an apparent sun on the outside do a counter
Yeah.
rotation. And wherever you go along the outside, it follows you. And then if you look at what else Joe Hanvey's modeled, he's modeled the star trails at the equator, the divergence away on both sides of it. He's modeled the moon doing the same thing, modeled it inverting. He's modeled all of it. And if like it works kind of like a kaleidoscope, you basically explain everything at that point. If the sky works like a kaleidoscope, then it explains everything because you're going to have a star trail in all directions south, no matter which way you're looking. It's going to follow you wherever you're at. They're all going to see the same thing. It's going to be the central image, distorted, stretched out, projected to the outside. And I mean, I'm not saying that is what happens. I'm just saying like there's a few different explanations as to what could happen. There's obviously also people have like this dual pole idea that they think could happen as well. And like for whatever reason, Jaron went from saying, "Well, if we do see it, we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board and figure it out." And then he went to like, "It's a globe." But I think what happened was everyone that was supposed to have our back, because the way that we viewed it is like this is like historic, and since if you go back to like the 50s, America goes there and locks it down. Humans have not really been there that much. We can't privately explore there. We don't have legitimate, verifiable evidence of the sun. Either way, it was like this historic thing, right? Where like from 2015 on, we were all like assuming we'd never be able to go there and do that and assumed it wasn't there. And then we actually went, which is pretty epic, right? Like it is pretty epic that flat earthers went there and saw it and figured it out, right? And moved the conversation forward. But instead of it being like, oh, this is cool, we now we know, we were both just like crucified. And
Yeah, but
he
that
got it
shouldn't
a
be a
little worse than me.
reason. That shouldn't be a reason to flip. Like you became a flat earther not because it was popular or the cool thing to do, is because you
Oh,
believed
I
it.
agree. I
So
agree.
that's pretty weak to be like, oh, these people freaking were mean to me on the
No, I
internet, so
agree. I
now I'm not
agree.
a
I
flat
agree.
earther anymore. You know?
I agree, but I'm just like trying to reason it out with myself, right? Like from what I saw happen, that's kind of what it went down. So what happened was instead of doing what I did, which was just like stepped away for a little bit and said, like I answered everyone's questions 500 times. They just kept saying I wasn't answering the questions, so I just disengaged. He like got in the mud with them, and so then you like introduce like pride of like arguing with people back and forth,
No,
and
he
then wanting to
flipped
prove them
while he
wrong.
was in Antarctica. He did not come back, start arguing with people, and then
That's not
flip.
true. That's not true because he flipped when we landed. Well, on the flight back, I saw him over in the corner and he had tears in his eyes. This is why like all these people saying like it's a big conspiracy stuff. Jaron was in the corner of the airport. We were waiting on our luggage and I saw his eyes watering, and I went over there and made sure no one else could hear us and started talking to him, and he said that he thinks like on the flight that it like hit him. He thinks it is actually a globe. I was like, "What?" And he was like trying not to cry. So, and he did kind of cry. So like,
So it didn't have
yeah, I mean,
anything to
yeah,
do with people being mean to him because he wasn't even back yet, right? I
no, I
mean,
agree. Well, what I'm saying is like, I'm just from my experience, he could have still maybe been reasoned with. I don't know, right? But like, he like dug his heels in and went against everybody, right? I mean, he was taking subliminal shots at me. I mean, he wouldn't say me by name, right? But he said flat earthers as a whole. He started going, I'm just saying that it didn't help the situation. And I agree with you. That makes no sense to make like to determine your position based on that. And he would probably say he didn't. But like from my experience, like that's kind of what happened, right? Because again, he said before we went, like if we see it, we just got to go back to the drawing board. And then he said multiple times, like I thought that's what we were going to do, but we didn't do that, and I realized it was a cult, and blah blah blah. And who knows what the truth there is, right? But I'm just saying that's just like my experience. Like he started going back and forth with people, and it became like a war. And there's this other part of it, right, where if he was like so confident and like definitive about the model he believed, if he finds out it's wrong, it's like in his mind, if he then comes up with another model or starts to double and with a different explanation and is proven wrong again, right? Like that's like a pretty like a humbling thing, maybe humiliating thing. So it's like the safer route in a way to just like default to the majority. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for Jaren, right? Like, I don't know. To me, it is very perplexing where all of a sudden he starts making all these arguments that he himself has debunked for years, right? I don't get that part, and you know, it is what it is. I don't really know.
Yeah, he stopped even being against NASA and admitting that NASA lies. And I saw videos from him showing the proofs that NASA made up many images, many videos. So,
I think he still
So
thinks
do
the
we
moon
just
landing was
talk
fake,
about
but
other
yeah,
people here?
he
Or what?
Isn't he
flipped one of those.
pro-vax now
What?
too?
You guys
No,
just talk about other
I wouldn't
people
imagine
No,
here,
that.
I
like,
doubt
or
that.
what's going on here? Like, you guys just want to like character assassinate
Well,
someone who's not here,
he's
or
Hey,
like,
still a
no,
mere
I wouldn't
man.
say peacefully. What's perplexing to me is like if he didn't have a huge emotional response about figuring out that he didn't live on a globe, then why did he have such a huge emotional response going back the other way?
call him, ask him.
No,
Dude,
I know
brother,
you can't. I'm
he
not.
was
I
a
don't
flat
expect
earther.
anyone to answer that.
He was a flat earther for like a decade. He sold hats with that freaking map on it. He like pushed this model for a long time. It was like his identity. And people that aren't like really public like that about it don't fully probably understand. You're basically signing a death warrant for any future professional opportunity. So
Yeah, I
like
respect
to
Yeah.
that.
th- to then be on the flight and then to think, wow, I've been wrong this whole time. It would be like humiliating. And it's like, dude, where do I go from here? You can't go back and erase everything off the internet. So it's like it is kind of an intense thing. And I'm not saying he was like balled up in the corner crying like a baby or anything. I'm just saying his eyes were watering, and so much so I went and asked him what was wrong, you know. And so that's just like what really happened. And I remember being
Yeah, that
shocked when
makes
he said
sense.
that. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I think you should just chill. I think maybe you should just be patient, just chill, kind of let everything settle down, think about everything. That was my advice to him, right? I didn't even think that he was really gonna completely go globe at the time. So, I mean, but I knew
Yeah,
Jaren
and
beyond flat Earth at that point.
I was like
So
Dave Weiss too. Like, I never really saw any problems with him, but then he was just shredding Jaren apart. I'm like, come on, man, this it's not gonna help. It's not gonna help like a fellow dude out.
yeah, they're just behind the scenes drama. And dude, I think all of it's gay. So like I think all of that's gay. And like I did my best to bring peace to the situation. People were obviously begging me to like publicly go against Jaren. I didn't do that, but I did set up a debate against him to kind of try to make everyone happy. I didn't I like maybe kind of held back on Jaren in the debate, but not really. Like I debunked everything he said. Like I wasn't like as savage as I maybe would be with some people, but I mean, on my first rebuttal, I called out all the fallacies he used. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I
Yeah,
held back against
there was
Jaren. Q up.
definitely
We
an
don't need
agreement.
some like low level color commentary where you've said it 57 times, please.
Uh, According to Bruce McGuire, you were pretty polite about it.
Yeah, I was trying to because like I have a history with him, right? Like I don't like I don't have like hatred towards that guy, you know, regardless of what other people think. Then what I did was freaking brought on I literally hosted a debate on my channel with the guy who claims that he was gonna prove I faked it and debated him. You know what I mean? I did everything I could. I came in here for hours and hours. I watched people's presentations. I answered people's questions, you know, over and over and over and over and over. And then it became very clear that like there is a group of flat earthers that honestly, they're just not. Once they say something publicly, they're not gonna walk it back. They're not. They're like they
Well,
claim that the footprints prove we didn't go. They're showing the evidence that isn't true. They'll still say it to this day. Once I realized that that was kind of the group I was catering to, I'm like, I'm not doing this. Is gay, right? Like I don't do this for people, whether it's globe or flat. I don't do this for people that are disingenuous. Like I don't care about people like that.
It's like Neil deGrasse. He doesn't debate people. He just goes and talks to people that are.
Yo,
Yeah,
we
I
should
totally don't
totally
debate
talk
people.
about.
Q-Lob, good point. I totally don't debate people.
Not anymore. No, I'm talking about TFE.
And
You
while
and
you were
and
Yo,
giving
Dave
your
are
let's
time
talk
to
about your
debating that
discord,
in the army.
epistemology, how you claim that you can only know things through experience. So I'd like to know how you know you're not gay.
Fuck off.
I've debated.
Witsit.
I've
but
debated.
while
I've
you were
debated
giving,
freaking professors, dude.
you were having familial issues as well, right? What,
Yeah,
right?
well, that's why
While
I
you're
actually stepped
giving
away.
everyone time, you're spending hours
Yeah,
on Discord, and everyone's getting mad at you, and you're like struggling at home.
yeah, yeah.
Bro, are you gonna like
Right.
make out with him like right in front of us? Like, be okay?
Well, no, it's just I heard
You want his
for a
number, dude?
year while
Are
he
you
was gone or
sexually
whatever,
interested in him?
people were ripping him apart. And anytime I bring up any kind of content from School and Globers or whatever else, it's like open season to make fun of a guy who listens to Witsit or whatever. There's just been a year of that kind of back and forth. Everyone hating on Witsit for going to Antarctica.
Are you Did he go? Are you sure he went?
I will say this:
Witsit.
like, there's like, yeah,
I wanted to ask him a question about it today, and he got really mad after he agreed to answer questions.
that's not what
It was an
happened.
amazing thing.
Dude, what
That's
is
not what
going
happened.
on in here? Like, what do you guys
Time
have
out,
like
That's
discussion?
not what
Nah,
happened, right?
Oh, it totally,
What
well,
happened
it
was
totally was.
what
Why are
dude,
you
that's not
omnivore,
what
interrupting?
happened.
stop, bro, stop. Don't be
Okay,
gay, dude.
so
It
that's
was
not what
absolutely
happened,
what
right?
happened. You can play the tape.
Stop
Okay,
interrupting.
so yeah, so what happened was I brought up Aries failure, and then to be fair, I singled you out because I was like one of the Glober names I recognize, and then you agreed to go back and forth with me about it if I would answer a couple questions about TFE. I said sure, and then once you gave your understanding of Aries failure, which was just riddled with fundamental misunderstandings, and I started to correct it, you cut me off and said, no, 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 okay, now I'm going to ask my question. So you didn't hold up your end, which was to actually go back and forth on the specifics. And then other people jumped in saying retarded stuff about it, and I debated them. Then, it devolved into Brenda debating evolution somehow. No one ran away from anything. What are your questions, man, about TFE?
I would like to talk for as long uninterrupted as Witsit just did. What do you think the odds of that happening are?
So you don't have the questions, or you have the questions?
I have the questions. Are you ready to answer them?
I just asked you what they were.
Okay. Well, are you going to answer them?
Yeah.
Okay. So, first question, why did you lie about vaping?
I didn't.
So you didn't
Like
vape?
an omnivore is gonna do this?
I didn't lie about vaping. The first time I was asked directly whether or
Well,
not
you
I had a
admitted you
vapor.
did.
Holy shit, dude. This is what happens, right? This is what retarded people do, frankly, right? Like if you can actually debate me, the last thing you'd have to do is instantaneously censor me. The
I'm
first
not
time I was
interrupting
asked
you.
directly, I know
That's
I
not
wasn't
me.
talking to you. Okay, dude. The first time I was asked directly whether or not I did have a vapor was vaping was by Geo in this room, and I said yes. And I told him I found a vape. I told him everything. I never once lied about vaping. I
Oh, you did.
genuinely did not think that what like the breath that I thought I saw, I didn't think it was the vape. I was just proven correct about that once we released the unedited continuous 360 footage where you can see me on my stream hit the vape, turn away from the laptop, and fully exhale. And that's because I was trying to keep the vape off the camera. I didn't lie about anything.
And the reason, just for the story, because you mentioned that I was the one that asked you, because I think the reason I asked you is because there was all this chatter going on about did he vape, did you not? And then people were bringing up videos and claiming that it was a vape or not. And then the one you're talking about in the video, as when you're live streaming. So it was just sort of this like bumbling rumor kind of thing. And then I think when you were in here,
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I'll
Because
just
what we
ask you,
did, remember,
ask you
we went
directly.
and
Yeah.
Yeah,
have
because
one
we
more
looked. We
question.
went
I
and
get
looked
one
at.
more
We looked.
question.
We went. Wait. Because
Let me
remember
know.
we went and looked at like some of the footage, and then I went inside right before that, and I'm like, oh yeah. So I went inside. I drank like the water they have in there, which was just hot water. And when you drink hot water, there you can see your breath for a few minutes after. So like I genuinely just believe that's what it was. I didn't even remember that I had hit the vape before it, right? Because it's like, bro, we're talking about so many hours with so little sleep where like it's just daytime all the time. I didn't remember when I did or didn't hit a vape or whatever, right? But once the footage came out, I'm like, oh, okay, I did hit a vape, right? So like me not remembering the exact moments I hit a vape over the course of like 72 hours is not synonymous with me lying. And yeah, you ended up asking because I guess there were other parts that it was shown that I hit a vape or people saw me hitting a vape or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I did have one. But this idea that I would have faked my breath is retarded, right? Because we saw our breaths at time. Like when you went to the shadows, there are live streams up still right now. When we went to the shadow of the shed, you could see everyone's breath. I actually called Jaren over there and said, well, I can see my breath right now because he had just said on his stream, you can't see your breath. I said, I can see it over here. He came over there and showed my breath. So like, why would I fake my breath, right? It doesn't even make any sense.
What's your next question, Omnivore?
Yeah, the next question was, how do you feel that the same rigor and techniques that you applied to NASA were applied to the videos from the final experiment, and they concluded you never went, that you faked
How'd you
it all?
feel about it? How'd you feel about it?
Yeah,
How do
how
I
do you
feel?
feel about that? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well,
Stupid.
I would take contention with your characterization because you can just claim that it's the same, but it's not. Because for years, what I've done is shown the compilations of claimed fakery of NASA, and there's been multiple different things. I'm like, well, here's their explanation for that. Actually, I don't think that's definitive. I don't think that that's good. And then different ones I say that is good. So the fundamental difference there is when there's a legitimate explanation or evidence presented, and then you just continue to say it anyway. That's whenever you veer off from anything I've ever done. It isn't the same. And if anyone's being honest, if someone does fake something in a studio, whatever, you're kind of limited to having to look at the footage that they gave you and figure out if there are discrepancies. I don't really have a problem with anyone doing that with every second of the Antarctica footage, right? My issue is once it's explained, once the evidence is shown, and that claim is shown to not be true, and then you just keep saying it anyway, right? Like that's the people I have beef with, and that's not the same. That's not the same at all. Like someone dropping something that free falls that's supposedly in 0G on the ISS isn't the same as someone claiming that there aren't footprints when you can zoom in and see footprints.
So my question was 7 seconds or less, and Witzit's answer was 1 minute and 11 seconds. So
Dude, you're
I think
gay,
that it
dude.
would be
Yeah, so
useful
what?
for people to realize that if you're talking about a greater than 10-to-1 question to answer time with somebody,
Who
that
gives a
ain't really a
fuck?
conversation, is it?
Why are
That's
you
how
going
it
so
works when
meta?
you're asked.
I'm
Yeah,
not
when
going
you're
to meta.
asking me a
I'm
question,
just making
dude.
points. I'm just
Well, your
asking
point
No,
questions.
that's not the
literally
point.
If it
That's
hurts your
the
feelings, it hurts your feelings.
it doesn't hurt our feelings. We just know that it's a stupid point, right? Like if you're asking me to unpack something, the fact that your question is short is irrelevant. Of course, my answer is longer.
it's an
What an
illogical
idiot.
argument.
Anyone who's ever interviewed anyone ever who's asked questions, that's always the case. The
That's
interviewer
crazy.
Oh,
order
are we having a
person
conversation or is this an interview, Gio? I'm sorry, I didn't realize this was
Pretty
an
much an
interview.
interview.
Yeah,
You said you had 2 questions for me. I've now answered
Did
them,
you
and you
think it was
can't
an
respond
interview,
to anything I
Gio?
said.
Why would you think that? That's a little strange, Gio.
Can we
You
not
said you
let
had
this
2
guy
questions.
talk anymore? I don't think
because
he
you
can.
Yeah, you
I
said
don't
you
think he
had 2
can talk
questions.
anymore.
You didn't say you wanted to go back and forth about it. You said you had 2 questions. I answered your questions. You didn't engage with anything I said in good faith because you're a bad faith actor. So we can move
I
on.
think that's really fascinating, Gio. I'd like to hear more about that.
Okay.
No, I think you
Awesome.
heard it all, dude. You came in asking interview questions. You asked him 4 or 5
I
times in
had
a
2.
row.
No, oh, no. Oh, see,
Let's go on, guys. Let's carry on.
Thank
You're like
you.
a child,
Thank
dude.
you.
thank God.
I was waiting for that.
Anyway, so yeah, I don't know what your guys' like initial take on that is, right? Like I'm kind of going back and forth on it about being in it. It looks like they're going to try to put me in it regardless.
You
Because
should
if they
sue
said they
them.
were going to take me, yeah, you think so?
Don't
I think
let them.
Gio's point was good.
Witsit.
Like if they don't put you in it, it's almost more publicity towards your side. And if they do put you in it, then they should allow you to have some kind of a closing, which is also awesome.
Right.
I
So
don't
look,
think you'd lose either way.
well, check it out.
Yeah.
So if they put me
Don't
in it,
sign
if they
shit.
put me, I'm not going to sign anything, but if they put me in it, well, I signed an NDA to see it, right? But whatever. If they put me in it, like I've seen what it is as of now, and then they've offered to have me give a final like update take, right? Like on a Zoom or whatever, and like say that I don't agree because they're so right now they're honoring the final edit, right? Meaning that they came to me in person, they showed me private viewing, they asked me if I have feedback or something I don't like. Stands to reason that if I say, yo, take this out, that they will, right? They asked me to keep up with the parts I wanted to change. They're offering to let me put me in the middle. At that point, they've honored the final edit. But based on kind of the fact that I'm even in it right now, they're kind of saying without saying, even if I don't agree, they're gonna try to put me in it, right? Because now here's the threat with like being uncooperative and saying, yo, you can't put me in it. I don't approve this final edit, then them doing it anyway, and then me suing them. The risk with that is, well, if they're going to go down that road anyway, then they may make it like a hit piece.
Well, sir,
So,
there is stuff, that NDA between you and them, which is actually forbidding you telling us stuff about your trip over
Isn't
there.
it?
no,
Isn't it
that's
already a
not what
hit
the
piece?
NDA is
No?
about.
No, the NDA was
No,
Oh,
just
it's
not to
already.
okay.
talk about what the thing was about, mostly, right? And then, I mean, if it's
Yeah,
already a hit piece, then I mean,
it's
whatever.
not like
Like,
really. No, it's not. It's not a hit piece like that. That's what I'm saying. Like everything that I'm in, I'm like not being misrepresented in it. I mean, there's like a couple things that like you could take attention with, like where if they put in a moment from like a debate between McToon and I from a while back, they cut it off, and right where they cut it off is where like you get more of the full explanation or whatever. But it's like it's not like a hit piece like that, right? Like they show
I
what
see.
my actual position is, they show my interview, they show what I say about it, they show that I said it
Yeah,
doesn't prove a globe, etc. Like it's not like a behind the curve
I
hit piece or
understood.
anything like
I
that.
understood. Thank you.
Yeah.
Here's another thought from an outside perspective too. Like when you stream, you do long streams, which is awesome for a lot of people. Like there's short form preference and long form, whatever. But if they go public with it and you don't get to have like a closing or something, you should try and do just short streams. Like don't kill yourself or burden yourself with long format streams. Just be regular so that you're there. You can throw on a live or whatever for 30 minutes every whatever 5 days or something, like nothing crazy instead of something that time sucks. And then you're just
So
present for the people who are looking for some sort of engagement from you
yeah.
that are new.
Well, I'm definitely going to be present, right? I've tried to come back a couple times, and then every time I do, something out of my control happens that, like, I'm just prioritizing my kids, and that's all I'm going to say about it. But I am streaming tomorrow, and I'm having Alan on, and then I'm going to stream consistently from there. I bought all the stuff to make sure that my internet's plugged directly in, blah blah blah. So like, I will be streaming consistently starting tomorrow anyway, and I've gotten everything else situated where there's nothing that can happen that'll make me step away. So like I'll be present regardless of the length of my streams or burnouts or anything like that. But like I will just explain, right? The NDA, clearly what they're worried about, right? Like they came to me in person. They didn't send me anything to view it, right? They came to me in person and played it where I don't possess it. What they're worried about obviously is me like sharing it. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to avoid me like getting out in front of it and sharing it or explaining it, telling everything about it or whatever, which is pretty reasonable. Right? That's a pretty reasonable thing. And like when I signed the NDA, it's not like a standard NDA where you can't say anything. It's like specific to um the film and then like anything that I'm specifically asked not to share about it. Like the film itself. That's what the NDA says. Right? Because I read all the way through it, right? I'm pretty good at understanding
So,
things.
so basically, I asked McToon, did he see any experiments going down there, right? Assuming this NDA, like even if you did, you wouldn't be able to talk about it, right?
No, that's what I'm explaining. The NDA has nothing to do with the trip. I can say whatever I want to about the whole trip. The NDA is about my private viewing of the film.
Okay, so did you see anything weird down there when you were there, or any experiments that were going on, or anything?
No, brother, they took us to a place where like private citizens are allowed to go, right? And they had like red flags everywhere where you had to stay where you were. And by the way, you would have died if you didn't anyway. So like anything sketchy going on in Antarctica wouldn't have been anywhere close to us. And then when we flew in, we went over the peninsula. We didn't even get to go over like the ice shelf portion. So weird. I mean, I saw like perfect pyramids there. If someone wants to tell me how that works, right? I mean, there were like mountains that looked like perfect pyramids that you could see on the flight in there. Other than that, it was like really dry. It was really, really quiet. You could see super far. It was really calm. It was just like desolate and super, super bright.
Yeah,
Were
could you
you
do a
were you
voice
allowed
changer?
to go ahead?
I was going to ask if you could do a voice changer on the interview and no video with the travel agent or whatever. That would be so sick.
Oh yeah, I could. I mean, obviously, like McCune's already showed his cards that he's super emotional about that and would try to do something, but I already have like a defamation suit lined up ready to go against him. So if he does anything to me, I'm just gonna like rinse him, to be honest. So yeah, maybe. I mean, I thought about different things like should I? Because like even if I were to say, oh, patrons can watch, it's the same thing, right? Like people can rip it, show it. Um, it is kind of tricky because the consent laws are different there. Like it's not like America, right? Like there's a few two-party consent states in America, but if you're in public, you have no expectation of privacy. It's not like that in other countries. You know,
It was
like
South
there's
America,
no.
right?
It was Argentina, right? Yeah. Wait, no.
Did you
Where,
look
I mean, yeah,
into did you look into any of the laws down there?
yeah. I think
I
it's
would think
like
video and voice changing and taking all the names out would make it somewhat. I mean, obviously, if there was anything interesting in there, everyone on the other side would claim that it's not real, but that doesn't matter. It's just for some of us here that are interested.
yeah. I mean, I could probably do that. I will say normally what will happen is like like as an American, you can do what you want.
No, but that's a good
Within a
point.
protected environment.
They could still put you out there, but just change your voice and put a black thing over your face and go, this flat earther didn't want to be identified, and but you know, blah blah blah, and just and still put it out, and you wouldn't be in
The
it.
contract. No. The contract prevents anything like that.
Oh, okay, all right, never mind.
Like literally, they can't use any audio or video that I'm in at all in any format. It's literally worded like that. I mean, we thought of like everything, like on a schizophrenic level. We thought about everything, and like even like them trying to vaccinate us and all this stuff, right? To leave every country. Like the contract's kind of crazy. It's like super one
Thought it was bad
sided.
to be a schizophrenic.
Uh,
I'm just fucking with you. Calm down. Keep going.
yeah. I was trying to think of something witty to say. Um, yeah, so I mean, I don't know, man. I will say the way I actually interpret this is that they're kind of desperate in a desperate situation, meaning like they've taken this long to edit everything and they've invested all this money and like they know that they need me in it. And so if they didn't need me in it, I wouldn't be in it. You know what I mean? That's just
Yeah.
the way it is. Like so like they've clearly probably tried to edit it with it because I will say Jonathan texted me after I told him after I saw the trailer and I told him like, look, I'm just gonna go and I told him this because I respect Jonathan. I didn't want him to edit a whole film and it be a waste, right? So I told him from the jump, I'm like, look, like if it was just the other people that have lied about me and to me all these years, I'd be like, I wouldn't care. I'd let them do whatever and waste all their time. But Jonathan, from my experience, is real. He's like authentic and people can agree or disagree, whatever. That's my opinion. So like I told him from the jump, I'm like, look, dude, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, right? Like if this is you know the truth, what Duffy's asking you to make, if it's gonna be framed, because the trailer seems to see this is how it's gonna be framed. If it's going to be framed like we all agree that this was going to be so historic because it definitively proved one way or the other, I'm not going to be in it. Like that's not what I agreed to. I don't think that. I made that clear the whole time. I'm not going to be misrepresented in it. I'm not going to go along with it. And then they took me out. Duffy got pissed, took me out, said we're just not going to put him in it at all. He actually texted me about, or he texted Jonathan. Jonathan texted me, and Jonathan was saying like, I really want to put you in it. I really hope there's some way that we can work something out. He was basically telling me like, dude, if I can't use anything with you in it, I'm kind of cooked. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, well, sorry.
Yeah, I had a revelation. I just had a revelation. They didn't kill Kirk because he started going against the Jews. They killed Kirk because they didn't want you to interview with Candace Owens.
That's kind of
They're
crazy.
like,
I mean,
wait, no, I'm just, obviously it's a joke, but
I
they're
know,
like,
I
come
know.
on.
But of course,
We,
that did take precedent over everything once that happened. But no, yeah, I can't. I'm not going to say much about what I know about that because, yeah,
So,
that
were
the
you
guy made
able
me
to
think of
go
that because the
outside?
videographer was her friend, right?
it was her director. Yeah. No, the person that's actually making the film was unrelated to her, but her director went on her behalf. So,
Were you able to go outside?
yeah,
How often?
whenever you wanted.
I
I mean,
see.
technically, they said there's
And
like quiet hours, but I mean, I walked out whenever I wanted.
yeah. And did you had like your own camera or phone so you can record?
Yeah. Right.
Did you video recorded outside a lot?
Not as much as other people, but a decent amount. I mean, I dropped like all my GoPro footage, all my videos on my phone and stuff as soon as I got back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
He live streamed one
and
night here.
you video recorded the way you wanted and not the way they instructed you.
Oh yeah, that was in the contract. I could do whatever I want.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you.
I wrote the contract,
Then
brother. Yeah.
I hope will you post these videos?
Yeah, I've posted the videos I made already. It's in my Telegram.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
And I did come in Discord at one point once I got on the internet and I shared my video and I said, guys, tell me what you want me to do or what you want me to show you. It's kind of
Mhm.
underwhelming,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like Antarctica is mystified and reasonably so, but when you're there, it's like there's really nothing there, bro. Right? Like it's really pretty, it's really quiet, it's like it's super bright and weird, but like it's not like there's a lot of stuff to show you. And obviously, in hindsight, if I had known that we'd be able to bring like as many bags as we wanted or whatever, then I would have brought probably a really strong laser. I would have brought things for different tests or whatever, because it was
Yeah.
like insanely flat, insanely clear, right? Because there's like no humidity. And so it's like
Yeah.
really perfect conditions for a long distance test. But like we were told specifically we could only bring the one bag. And my bag, like I had to sit on it to barely get it zipped. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I didn't think I could bring anything else. Yeah. But of course somehow magically all the Globers knew they could bring more conveniently.
Yeah.
And
I
they still lie.
understand
They
these
still try to lie
things.
about that.
But there was something you said you saw, which is very intriguing for me because um, you said you saw mountains which looked like pyramids,
Yeah. Multiple ones.
uh, but they were made of ice, snow-like.
Yeah, yeah. It looked like snow covered mountains, but they were like
Yeah.
perfect pyramid shapes. Yeah.
Were these very far away from your reach?
So there was like a pyramid. It's actually kind of a famous one. A mountain that looks like a pyramid,
Mhm.
relatively close to our camp. But
Yeah.
I saw multiple ones flying in.
Mhm.
You know, probably like 4 or 5 of
Well,
them.
these. Oh, so was it like four triangular faces?
Pyramids
Yes.
have 8 faces.
Doesn't ALE have a trip with it, like as part of an additional cost that you can take a little airplane and they'll fly you by that one pyramid mountain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we looked into doing it, but it's crazy expensive. It's like thousands of dollars a person.
Well, for me, the presence of half octahedrons is very fascinating and intriguing, and It confirms something for me personally. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, it seems like something was inhabiting that place at one point, right? I mean, like, so pyramids are a naturally forming structure with certain crystalline structures, but like if you look in the history of like even just in the domestic like United States, there are these things that look kind of like pyramids or just like mountains or hills, and when they're excavated,
Yeah.
they're literally
But
like
they are
pyramids.
symmetric. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but like if you look at the before pictures, it literally just looks like a hill. You know what I mean? And there's so many of
Mm,
those around the world. There's no telling what all there is that we haven't dug up.
yeah.
Did you see any military down there, like they say, or
Well,
not
there
really?
was so yeah. Well, yeah. So there's like the area that's like the military base or whatever. It's like the Chile military, whatever. But it was very underwhelming. You know, there was like I think a couple small planes. There were some people there, but not like a ton.
Mm,
So I would assume that's like the public cover story, right? Like I would assume like any legitimate military presence was not going to be remotely close to that camp.
yeah.
Wait, now you're talking about so Union Glacier. There's the Union Glacier camp, and then you're saying right near
Yeah.
right near Union Glacier, there's like the Chilean camp, and you have to take like a snow vehicle, and it's like a few miles away. Because when I've been looking at all the footage,
Mhm.
I found a few. There was the one like solar eclipse, and there's footage from the Chilean camp, and then there's footage from I think similar to out where you guys were when you went from Union Glacier, the actual camp out to that other site where you guys set up all the 360 cameras. So I was able to find the eclipse footage, one of them from the Chilean camp, and then one of them from, because you got to go out there to see it behind the mountain or above the mountain the way you guys did. So there's kind of like
Yep.
three areas. There's the Chilean camp, the Union Glacier, and then that kind of outpost area, basically.
Yeah, what they call halfway point or whatever where we went. Yeah, so like they say it's because the military uses the same runway. Like there's only one runway in any proximity. So the military uses that same runway, so they just set their camp up close, which kind of checks out to be honest. The runway is crazy, dude. It's literally like blue ice. That's pretty crazy. And then Jared and I and some girl that worked there, she took us in the truck at one point and we drove by that and we asked her a few questions about it. But I just remember not seeing like a ton of stuff there, to be honest. It was like pretty underwhelming. There were some flags and stuff, and there were like a couple. I want to say there were a couple like small planes and like snowmobiles and stuff like that. A couple vehicles, but it wasn't like a crazy military post or anything.
Yeah, well, yeah, they call that's like the Chilean camp, or there might be an actual name for it. I'm just if it's just called Chilean camp or if it's called something else. But yeah, I remember some of the footage I found from that part because I was like, wait a minute, why are there so many less tents here? You know, like in the Union Glacier part, the main site, there's all those tents, and then I saw this other footage where I was like, what is this other spot with smaller tents? So yeah, it took me or smaller number of tents. It took me a little while to figure out that okay, there's actually the Chilean camp, which is what is it like further north? Or is it or it's kind of or no, it's further west from the camp. If the mountain's south
I
and
don't.
then it's yeah.
I don't remember. It's like very close. Because like the official story is that the Nazis were obsessed with Antarctica, and then we became obsessed with Antarctica, and we sent Admiral Byrd out there is like around 1930 or whatever. We end up establishing like Little America, you know, and then they built like other camps on like the Ross Ice Shelf or whatever, going up to like 1958, I think, which is like, of course, they were doing everything around this time, right? And then they claim that they like decommissioned them, which is obviously a lie, right? Like if you know anything about the military, they may have decommissioned them because they just were building like bases elsewhere. And like when you're there, like the first thing that Jaron and I kind of immediately thought was like, if the military was going to set up any substantial operation here, it would be underground because it's just too unpredictable. And by the way, like the storm was very real, you know what I mean? Like, um,
Yeah.
and they have like pretty awesome shots of it. I will say
It's
that. Like,
very easy to.
good luck someone trying to say the trip is fake after they see the documentary. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And like it shows the storm coming in, and like it's pretty crazy because they got some drone shots of it, all kinds of stuff, and you just wouldn't set up a camp on top of the ice if you could just build it underground. Like, why wouldn't you be able to build it underground? Because ice is super easy to drill through, right? So I would think that the real military bases America has in Antarctica is like underground, and probably even like accessible via submarine and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah, that's what I was
sense.
gonna say. Domes, the domes, and the navies.
Yeah, I would assume, right? Like, obviously that's speculation, but it would make no sense for them to be so obsessed with it to go out there to sign an international treaty and then just to pack up and leave. Like, that's retarded.
Yeah, there's idiots like NASA who would think that. But here's the thing, though. So you said those guys that when you were there, they were like, you know what? They weren't like forcing you in a way, but at the same time, they were telling you just don't go to these areas because you might get hurt. That's how they told you, right? But did you feel like is it really for like your health reasons, or they really didn't want you to go there?
Well, yeah, I believed them, right? I don't think anyone at that camp is in on anything, personally. But and I think honestly, like the documentary is gonna make that very evident to people. Like this idea that everyone's actors is like you can't even really believe that when you watch all of it. But like that they're talking about like crevasses or whatever, and you can tell that that's probably a very real thing, you know? And so what they told us was like you're going to recognize that there are red flags along the perimeters. Don't go outside the red flags. The red flags are where we've basically checked everything out and know that it's legit and safe, that you can safely walk around. But outside the red flags, there are crevasses, some of which can swallow like a family sized vehicle easily. And, you know, it's practically impossible to rescue someone from those, etc. But like it wouldn't benefit me at all to go outside the red flags anyway, because when you fly in there, you realize that it's such a huge place, right? They would not be letting us go anywhere close to any of the stuff they're trying to hide, right? There's a 0% chance that that camp was set up anywhere close to whatever's there that they don't want you to know about. So like the
No,
private
but
exploration
you're
thing was
saying they're
probably
not in on it, right? You're saying they're not in on it, but they're telling you don't go to this space or that space because of health reasons, or because we
safety
don't want
reasons.
you to die, essentially. Yeah, safety reasons. Okay, so what if someone decides, hey, thanks for the tip, but I'm still gonna do it, right? Who's gonna stop him?
I don't think anyone's going to stop you. I just think I actually,
Nature.
yeah, like it's like, dude, that place is scary, bro. Right. Like I wasn't pissed the storm was coming. I was like, okay, cool, let's leave. You know what I mean? Like it, it's cool or whatever. Like the part of it that's cool is seeing it and then kind of experiencing how quiet it is or whatever and being like, dude, we're literally away from everyone on earth. Like that's pretty cool
Yeah.
for like an hour. You know what I mean? Like it's not like
But
it's
then
not like it's not like you go on a
you're
tourist guide
alone.
or something.
Yeah. What was the lowest temperature that you experienced?
Actually wouldn't know. I'm not sure. I want to say maybe it may have not got lower than the teens. I will say that there were periods of the day that did get significantly colder. Like when the sun got a little bit lower, it got noticeably colder.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
it wasn't like crazy or anything.
See, that makes sense
uh,
on a planar Earth with a rotating sun that's closer and local. That also makes sense. I know the globe is going to have their argument of the angle and everything else, the amount of land that the light is being spread onto and the heat. But I'm saying that also because if you were at like about 80 degrees, like you weren't at 90, so the sun would be going further and closer in its position to you in terms of the temperature change.
Yeah. It's like a
so
very
it
disorienting
was
place, man.
summertime when you went.
Yes, it was their summer, yeah.
I just find this really weird because on one hand, I agree with your statement where you said, you know, like people are not going to go take Antarctica and just leave it, right? There has to be some sort of governing body or somebody protecting that land. And this is just my opinion. I don't think anyone could just go there and do whatever they want, right? You agree with that?
No, you definitely can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a
But the
video of the
question
girl
becomes
that's
these
like in
guys are
charge
saying
of
there's
it.
no cops or military, right? So who's enforcing it? That's the question.
Well, that nature
Nature.
enforces it. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like you'd have to have something like an airship if you wanted to privately explore that place, dude. And like, there have been people throughout history. Like, I don't think they even like if they give someone approval, like, okay, sure, go privately explore it. What are you gonna do? Like, they're gonna get on a plane. They're gonna use GPS. That's what they do. And then a lot of people have died doing it, but they don't care. Like, okay, go on a sled, whatever. You're gonna use our GPS anyway, so you're gonna go where we tell you to, even if you think you're not. And if you're gonna go there without a GPS, bro, you're cooked, right? I mean, like, because
Yeah.
you're not gonna be able to get back to whatever they have set up, and you're gonna die. And so, like I'm
No,
not.
I
When I
get
was
it's a
there,
hazardous
I did
place.
not want to explore. Is all I'm saying. When I went there, I didn't want to explore. I wanted to leave. So,
Yeah, what if someone like goes and stabs somebody, right? Who's like arresting that guy is my question.
oh, I don't know. I mean, that probably like so. Like I said, like the Chile military or whatever is there, and so they have a presence. I mean, I know that they have like, so I know that they said something about some of like those laws are relevant there. I don't really know. That's a good question. I mean, who knows, right? I mean, who even enforces the private exploration? Apparently, Australia does a lot of it. Who like on the shoreline? I don't really know. I just think that they could just like, um, they could just leave you there if you were trying to duck off, and you would die probably. Right. Like, so basically, if someone wants to really privately
100%
explore that
you die.
place, they're gonna have to get on an airship or something, and they're just gonna have to be fully willing to die. And they're just gonna have to keep going south and see what happens. And you're gonna have to use mechanical compass, right? You can't use GPS. GPS obviously just it's baked into the cake, right? So like all these tests the Globers were doing using GPS, acting like it proved the globe, are obviously that's just retarded. But we're kind of we're kind of limited to what they give us, right? Like I don't know what Antarctica actually is. I don't know how it's actually shaped. I don't know where we actually were. I would say I know I feel that I know for sure we were in Antarctica, but like where we were in relation to the rest of Antarctica, I don't think you would have any way of knowing that.
Going back to that other guy's question, I think I read something not too long ago about an incident that occurred at McMurdo where like one of the scientists was like freaking out and they had to like get him out of there because he was like causing problems or something like that.
I will say this
I
too, dude.
haven't
One thing
heard
you
anything.
realize when you realize in that type of setting, what you realize is that you recognize the like humanity of everyone very quickly, if that makes it like you quickly realize that humanity's like on the same team. It's kind of like corny as that sounds, like it's true because it's like the feeling is like we're not even supposed to be here as people,
Yeah.
and it's like you just like everyone's kind of surviving, and this is like 21st century. They got everything set up. We were eating full course meals and stuff, but like like ideological differences seem a lot less significant when you're there because it's just like so much bigger than you. You realize that you're so small. So like when you go there, like you're kind of all on the same team. And when the storm was coming, like we were all on the same team. You know what I mean? Like, and they were bunkering down when we were about to leave. Um, so I will say that, right? Which is, I mean, should be kind of explanatory because I can't stand some of the people that went, and obviously we coexisted without really many issues and worked together at times even.
Kind of funny that you
Did
say
they
that. Christina Koch said the same thing when she came back from the Artemis mission or the quote unquote Artemis mission. But funny enough, she was actually she was stationed in Antarctica before she became an astronaut.
Yeah, Antarctica's crazy, man. Like, and obviously I've never experienced a 24-hour sun anywhere. Obviously there are people that have north. That phenomena is like very disorienting. Like if you wake up at 3 in the morning, it's like it's noon. Like it's like insanely bright when you
daytime?
walk outside. So just you lose track of time, you lose track of everything. Like it's like exhausting,
Yeah.
dude.
Can I give Can I give a quick example of like how easy it would be to hide anything in Antarctica just based on the like size of it alone? So I live in Las Vegas and I work at the Venetian, and there's entire like underground passages for all of the employees, the suppliers, the vendors, etc., completely beneath the feet of like the tourists. Like you guys would never know that there's this entire infrastructure completely underground the strip that like supplies everything. It's like an entire city underneath the city, and you would literally have no idea it's down there unless you went down there. Now multiply that same kind of factor by like 100 when you're in Antarctica. You know what I mean? So like, who knows what the heck they have down there?
Yeah, I also find it very interesting they took us over the peninsula. You know what I mean? Like they take all the tourists, if you want to call them that, like they take you over the peninsula. So what you see is like water turn into like a landmass that doesn't have a super high elevation. But obviously we know that like the mainstream claim is that Antarctica has the highest average elevation in the world, and it's like over double second place. But yet where they bring the people, you don't see that at all.
Well, you
Right?
do
And it's like,
if you fly from Australia, you do, don't you, to their camps?
well, we should have been able to see it on our flight as well, right? Like they didn't have to go over the peninsula.
I think you come from Punta Arenas, you're going to fly over the archipelago. You're going to fly over the coastline by deception, aren't you? And they're around that region onto it, I think.
I remember looking at the trip and being like, we kind of veered off to go over the peninsula.
Right.
Like, I mean, whatever. I mean, they may have a reason for it or whatever. But
If you were where you were and you wanted to go true south, you didn't trust a compass, you could, when you set off, set a timepiece up. When you know that the sun is directly south, record your time, your chronometer, and then just every day wait for 24 hours, then walk in the direction of the sun, and you know you're truly walking south all the time. You don't need a compass and you don't need a GPS.
the sun's in an apparent position now, so.
Sorry?
Isn't there a base that's like relatively close if it were a round continent, but it would be like you'd have to get there from the other side of the world on a plane, like a flat plane. I mean, not an airplane. I thought there was a base that's on the other side of Antarctica almost.
Huh? Yeah, supposedly.
It's curious how they enter. Like, where do they have? Like, what's their itinerary to get there?
That map, the AE map is like so limited. It's just a globe, but it's not just a globe, quote unquote. It's the spherical coordinate system, and it's just a projection of it.
You know
So
what
like, it's
else
going
is
to be
cool about
equivalent.
that, Pete? What's cool
Oh
about
yeah,
that is if it was the case that the sky worked like a kaleidoscope, you'd be able to make like a million different projections of the entirety, but you wouldn't be able to do that, for example, for your town.
Well, that's what the scripture says, isn't it, Torah? You'll never be able to measure it.
Yeah. So that's that would be God's domain, the heavens, and sure, He made it in such a way that it follows us around, right? So we could get to other local realities, but in your local reality, yeah, you couldn't make a claim to the entirety. That would be impossible because the sky works like a kaleidoscope.
Yeah, it would be like like this place was made so that every observer on Earth has their own like little individualized experience.
It also says that it's his handiwork, right? So of course it would be something that man can't explain. It's made
Exactly.
for God's work to show you how amazing God is, right? And how supernatural, whatever you want to explain it, right? That's
And it says
why.
that repeatedly.
And just because like guys that are like, oh well, a triangle, a three-sided, dude, if you think God can't make a kaleidoscope that's more complicated than you're not even doing an internal critique of the argument.
And we can make way more complicated kaleidoscopes than three-sided triangle mirrors anyway.
Well, here's the thing: if it is a kaleidoscope, we're only seeing one section of it anyway, so it would be absolutely massive.
Yeah, and you know how like when you spin the kaleidoscope around, you have these like little beads that are like changing the reflection of the light. The mirrors aren't moving, but the little beads are moving when you spin it, and then that's changing the angle of the light, and then that changes how that angle then interacts with the mirrors and changes the image. So like if you were to just keep it stationary and then move underneath it, you're going to be viewing that light from a different angle, so you're going to get the different images the same way. It would literally be relative.
It's an individual view. Everybody, no matter if you're 1 foot away from someone, would have a different view of looking through those angles.
Yeah, which is crazy, man. It's crazy because we kind of knew this before the trip, right? Like if you just look at this, the sunset and the direction of the sun and stuff, right? Like the sun has to be apparent to the observer on a plane. It just has to be.
Autoreferentiality. Hey, Witsit.
It's even crazier too. It's like that sun or the moon. You could model that like in a bowl shape, so that could be like literally concave for all people know. Like you cannot make a distinction of a sphere or a concave thing.
Well, what I remember and like actually, if you try to imitate an eclipse in their model, you really can't even do it. Like if you take a
Yep.
sphere and cast a shadow onto a sphere, you cannot get a straight line. Like you can't get the shadow we get. But if you take like another shape, then you can. You know, you can take like a cylinder or like a ruler or whatever, and whatever casts the shadow on there is going to imitate the eclipse. But the two spheres actually don't.
Yeah, which is wild because that's been physically modeled. We can
Yep.
physically model all of this stuff. The globe camp, it doesn't have like a physical model anywhere.
What do you mean you
Quit
can't get a straight
fibbing. You're
line?
telling fibs.
Just no maybe works on like what 1% of the population. So I guess you can save that for them.
The craziest part is under 75 IQ has a hard time dealing in these hypotheticals, so it doesn't surprise me that Left Lane would throw a non-rebuttal out there like that.
Well, no, you're just lying about not having models.
Oh, can you
Witsit,
show me a physical model of a sphere casting a shadow on another sphere and it's showing us what we see in
Yeah,
the eclipses?
it's on YouTube. There's a bunch of them on YouTube.
No, there's
I've done it.
not.
I've done it
Model.
before.
No, you
I'd
haven't.
have to find. I'd have to find my pictures of it, but I do. I swear I had it somewhere.
You imitated
Yeah,
every
that's,
phase of the eclipse.
and a light source that was a sphere.
Well, light source wasn't a sphere, but
I was gonna
if
say,
Well, then
I'll
I
that's
take
not a
that.
physical model.
if
Is the
I
sun a sphere or not?
well, I guess if we need a spherical light source, then I'd need a
Dude,
pretty
you need to
darn big light
physically
bulb.
model the thing you claim is reality, right?
Do you?
Well,
Yeah,
you should
but
be able to do that, yeah.
Can't you do a
Reality
mathematical
is
model
not a
and render
model.
it?
well,
Can't you
You could
render
Yeah,
do
a
a
we have
shadow?
that
mathematical
too.
model. Yeah, you could do
I
that
could
of a unicorn. You could do that of
Yeah.
Superman. Yeah, I mean,
I
No,
could
seriously
probably
though, can't you use just rendering to do it? You have to
I
Dude,
have
we
can
got
I can
10
render
grand.
Superman.
go
We,
in my basement right now and set up something.
If you want to,
How are
brother,
you
do
going
it.
to do
See
that?
see if you can
Or
take a
And
sphere, cast a shadow onto another sphere, and then imitate all the phases and the eclipse.
yeah, so like have like the edge of the shadow bit be curved,
let's check it
Just
out. Looks
imitate
like
like
Joe
imitate
how we
all the
Hamby.
eclipses. So we obviously have like you can have it where it goes all the way to the midpoint, and then you have a straight line, and then you have the rest of it that ends up fully covering it. Right? You should be able to. It should. It's not like it should be complicated. One
well
test can do all of it. All you have to do is move the sphere.
Yeah,
on
here's
the
our
lunar
model. Here it is right here. It's on screen for you, Seafoam. You need it? It's a Joe Hamby sharing it right now for you. Physically
well
modeled.
on the lunar eclipses, the shadow isn't ever really straight. It's always curved.
I'll check it out, dude.
What is that?
What is that?
That's a physical demonstration.
Of
Wait, of what?
Witsit, wanna hear something new?
It's of a sphere casting a shadow on another sphere.
Mm-hmm.
You still here, Witsit?
Yeah,
Wanna hear something new?
sure.
You know the visible electromagnetic spectrum, Roy GBV plus indigo, the six
Mhm.
color, right?
Mhm.
You know what they are?
The colors?
Yeah.
Yeah, the colors of the rainbow.
Red is left hand,
Yes, and then
minus X,
purple's on the right.
minus X. Orange is down, minus Z. Yellow is plus X. Blue is the head, plus Y. Plus Z is violet, the chest.
You missed out green.
Green, minus Y, abdomen, belly.
Right.
Are you talking about like the auras?
No, it's the plus minus XYZ, the six Cartesian axis of 3D space.
Right.
You see the logical construct of the 3D space. 3D space is not nothing, fundamental nothing. It is a logical construct.
Yeah, the rainbow is a covenant from Yah too. And then when you read Ezekiel, when he looks at the glory that surrounds Yah, it's like a rainbow. And then Satan is crazy. He wanted to steal that glory. So they said pride is what made him fall. And if you look at the pride flag, it's like trying to take it over. It's crazy, dude.
When you
Yeah, it's so
unfold
blatant.
the cube, when you do the 2D unfolding of the cube, you obtain the Vitruvian man.
Fascinating.
So 3D space is actually the human body. It is the cube is the man in fetal position. And this is we are quaternary because we have a low degree of decoherence. We don't have scenary coherence on all six Cartesian axes or planes of 3D space. We have only 4 nodes, Cartesian axis of coherence. That's why our DNA is ACGT. CG, they have triple connections because we have 3 positive Cartesian axes and minus X, 1 negative for all the other 3. And this makes us quaternary. But this adds a low grade of ohmic resistance to the system. And the ohmic resistance is the cause for the down vector because the electric current construct of the binary plane in which electric force is born is X and Y axis. So the polarity charge distribution is at 90-degree angle for electricity. Now, this is what logic does in the first step of creating the electric force field. Now, in the second step, you have 2 entities, positive and negative, making a relative step, logical step to each other, and this makes the binary field flip, rotate 180 degrees, which projects the polarity distribution of the electric force 180 degrees opposite to each other now, from 90 degrees. So whenever
Is
we
this
use
like on a turbo contabulator? Is that what this is on?
Dude, please
yeah.
don't interrupt.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
what are we
it's a
talking
new
about?
thing. Nothing interesting. I
Definitely
was,
not. It's not. I don't think it's for you, brother.
yeah,
Yeah, man. Come on, Lifeline, chill.
That's a lot, man. I have to think about what you're saying.
yeah. I made a whole new computational paradigm. I made a new kind of CPU that processes information very, very different from what we actually have today.
You think you're gonna be able to beat out like Nvidia and AMD and all that with your new design? Should we be investing in your company?
It's going to be some 4D computing. Of course you can.
I already did. My paradigm, I called it spectrologic.
Have you got a piece of
That's a
silicon?
That's
that's
a
a
cool
that's a
name.
Daft
Hold
Punk
on, hold on.
song,
All
isn't
the
it?
It's a new
rebuttals you
sign.
guys are giving, can you guys just please first steel man his position?
Spectrologic. That's a Daft Punk song, right? Spectrologic.
Yeah.
Hey, can you guys
Did,
Spectrologic.
stop being horrible people? How about that one?
yeah.
I said
Yeah,
it was a
dude.
cool name. What are you talking
Hey,
about?
did
No,
you guys ever
no.
read Second Chronicles
eh,
7:14?
wait. Before we go, I just want to ask the guy who said you actually made a CPU, or you just designed like the architecture. I'm curious.
Yeah, I have Verilog files if you want to, if you really want to see. I mean, for FPGAs.
Okay. Oh, so you're serious? Okay. Hi, dude. What's your name on Discord? I can't see my phone right now.
GetBeGet.
I'm GetBeGet.
GetBeGet for sure.
Yeah.
I'll DM you,
Jeremy,
brother.
it reminds me of that video
I will look forward.
you had us watch on YouTube, Jeremy, with all the sacred geometry.
I don't want to
That
make
dude,
big waves because
that dude
I
probably
just
you would like that video. I forget what it's called though. Jeremy knows.
Well, I love how I get muted after the TFE conversation started. Unmuted.
It's because you were immediately interrupting me.
I don't know about that.
Well, we all know about it, so.
Dude, Q up. You gotta like not keep disrupting the convo, dude. It's bad. You just shout in the middle of people, and then it's like you either just have to be muted and then you leave, or you just get to ruin the conversation and it's like audio chaos where no one can hear anything. Like, can you stop doing that?
Well, he speaks for 10 minutes. Like if he never stops talking, how like there's no
That
space
isn't
to get in.
true. That isn't true at all.
Can we turn off his like mute and unmute button or something? Because it's so annoying how many times this guy hits mute and unmute. It like ruins live stream.
Right now, which is what
Why do we allow
I
this?
mean,
from QI. So the frequency also is linked in the same way, like a cymbal or the thong, or how you tune a guitar or whatever. Everything in sacred geometry is linked to what that guy was saying. It seems to be electrical based, but it's hard for us to understand altogether. It's a high IQ scenario, right? Like, and we're mid-range IQ or lower IQ than what the creator would be, of course. So it's hard to put it all together and think about, but you can definitely feel it. So you can feel your hair stand up on your head. You can, when you clash a symbol together, you can see that. You can see it in nature. You can see the ripples on the water or watch the sand make different symbols, right? It's all linked.
yes, reality is made of hypercubes, like tiny cubes, which they are motionless, they don't move. Michelson-Morley experiment, actually, the null result was actually the confirmation of their experiment, because
Hey,
what
sorry.
they proved wasn't ether. They proved that there exists 3D space as a logical construct which has 0 Kelvin, 0 motion, and refraction index of 1. So light through this medium propagates uh, in a perfect manner.
Can I? Hey,
Personally,
Oh, sorry.
I believe
No, hold on.
it's.
Beast was trying to get. Beast was trying to get in. Necros, I think he was. Is that all right? He was
You,
next, I think.
you were talking about it's made of a hypercube in a sense, like
Yeah.
Dr. Mike Heffron in his book talks about the three different possibilities of the smallest fundamental particles and what they look like, and one of them was like small vortices, right? One of
Yeah.
them was small hypercubes, and one of them was small spheres.
Yeah. The cube itself has a special diagonal, and nobody knows this. But in computing, this diagonal is extremely important, the most important, because it allows you not to use external oscillators. So he fixed the master clock problem.
In my
Now,
belief, just following some of what Witsit believes in, like the toroidal field and those things. So I think the reality is just voice related. I think the reality was spoken. And it's also, you will find it in religious books like Bible, Quran. I think it's just like you speak and you have the voice, you have the sound waves, which is just toroidal fields that are in the air, moving somehow in the direction of the sound. So I think the reality is just like that. Like the one who created it,
yes, the
spoke it in some sort.
toroid,
Like the Silmarillion.
the toroid are generated, the effect of the rotating hypercubes, the tesseractic hypercubes. They rotate clockwise and counterclockwise on XYZ axis simultaneously.
Yeah, I think what they call as atoms. So I think it's just like that. It's just like some
Yeah,
sort of is like some sort of voice happening. Someone spoke those things, so it's the release of energy in that spiritual or etheric medium, and it's
yeah.
manifested like that. You have the physical material, you have the energy. You find it also in the electromagnetic spectrum.
I have posted on zenodo.org the theory of the scenary electron, a computational scenary paradigm. So the hypercube is the neutron. The proton of the atom is made of 7 hypercubes, 1 central and 6 adjacent. So the central hypercube becomes a information coherent convergence nexus, where information actually makes itself triaxial cross autoreferentiality. So this nexus actually converges many kinds of four types of information. It takes a quad word of 128 hexadecimal RGBA string and maps it with against two quad words of 32-bit UTF, but tied together in mirror side. So when you do the binary reading in the register, only the first 32-bit makes sense, but the other one, because it's written in mirror, it will not compute, it will not make any sense for the computer, for the CPU, because it's in reverse, so against the binary table. But this is because from your perspective, it's not even meant to make sense, because you have to flip your own perspective 180 degrees. So you have to be on the other side to be able to read the second quad word. So yeah, this system actually gives the information like spatial awareness. So the quad word 128 hexadecimal RGBA means 340 undecillion color nuances. This is just the alphabet which is used, nature uses to write the human DNA sequence. And the human DNA string has a length of 96 times 2 to the 1 to the power of 1024. This will give us a number, a string number long of about 10 to the 311 approximately. It is a lot more than the so-called big number in mainstream physics, which they call 10 to the 120, as they say. This is the number of protons in existence. I don't like to use the word universe. That's why I say reality or existence. So,
So
human DNA,
that exponential number that you listed there,
yeah,
that was what relating to what?
that is the length of the spectral fingerprint of human DNA.
Yeah, it's the longest word in known to man. So, like, if it was a case that the universe was spoken into existence, this would be good evidence of that DNA.
Yeah, yeah.
I just wanted to call back. I made in my basement a thing showing sphere shadows looking like a lunar eclipse.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if we're past that at all, but
That's good.
Oh, I want to see it.
Nice. Is the basement floor flat?
yeah, it's between two tables.
Oh, our table's flat?
They are actually
It's not bad. That's not bad, but
they're two very crappy tables, so I don't think they are flat. One is
They're definitely
definitely
curving at more than 8
dipped.
inches per mile squared. I don't even think
Yeah.
you could make a
But
table not curve more than 8
see,
inches per mile squared.
Seafoam, the problem with your demonstration there is that you're not using the same size sphere.
Wait here, can I share my screen here? see.
GetBeGet, are you autodidactic or are you scholar?
I'm sorry?
Are you self-taught or a scholar?
I'm an ex-evil hacker. Romanian
I knew
ex-evil
it.
hacker.
I'm like, no one
Yeah.
uses undecillion. Come on, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the
The limit.
128
Yeah.
token, the 8K resolution, you know, it's
Yep.
bad.
So, okay, GetBeGet. Have you
Yeah.
looked into have you looked into, like, for example, QLED?
That should stand for some kind of quantum LEDs, right?
Oh, they say they claim quantum, but yes.
Yeah.
In the qubit, in pixel terms, are the colors actually red, green, blue, and yellow.
Yeah, they I mean, it's quantum chromodynamics, the
There you
study
go.
of
Yeah.
they speak about the quarks, you know, those colors which are not colors in their model. But actually, my hypercubes actually have colors, the real colors. I didn't pick them up by choice. I deducted, I found them in the electromagnetic spectrum. And I built logically with them. And they actually help information perform, like writing text, spatial geometric motion with color.
Well,
So
look at what I posted there.
when we see at an object, we see the colors, but we also see shape. When we look on a paper with handwriting, yeah, we see those lines with curves, the color of the ink, and that handwriting, we recognize every line curved and we figure out the letters. So this is what my processor is actually doing, is
Do you see what I
mapping.
posted, Gibby? The iPhone under a microscope? It looks like a hypercube to me.
Anyway, I was just saying, I'm sharing my video here, and
Oh,
so
nice, Seafoam. Awesome.
have
Diverging light rays. Cool. Is that
I have
represent
a
the
soccer
physical model?
ball, and so when the soccer ball
I don't
moves
see
in
it.
front of the 3D printed moon, the shadow stays curved. Even like on the edge here, it's still a curved shadow.
So is that parallel light rays from the sun?
No, they aren't
You
exactly
can go do this
parallel.
outside though.
I could do this
I'm
outside
just
if it
I'm just
were
wondering,
Well,
if
okay,
it
is
yeah,
were
it
so
outside?
then
Will you
does that
accept it?
affirm, hold on, excuse me, sir. If you do that outside, does that make it the case that the sun rays are not parallel since these ones aren't parallel?
well, the sun rays aren't parallel. They diverge by about half a degree.
Okay, is that parallel enough or not? Is that the same? Is that what the light in your physical demonstration is doing? 1/2 of a degree?
Wait, stop right there.
Uh,
Keep it right there. That does not look at that. That does not look like an eclipse. Look at it. It comes up and then like angles down.
Yeah.
well, that's because I'm still quite close to the ball. If I were to move my camera back more, the farther back I move my camera, the more circular the shadow's going to be.
Just
Like if I,
zoom it back out.
yeah. So here,
You
let
go to
me.
5.3.
And also, what I learned about shadows, that shadows are always bigger than the object that is casting the shadow. And I don't think that
That's not
shadow
true.
with the moon is bigger than the Earth itself.
That's not true.
Well,
What you just said
the
is not true. That matters on the size of the light source.
the penumbra of a shadow is always bigger than the source object, but the umbra can either be bigger or smaller depending
How
on the
far
size of the light source.
how far does that shadow extend into space from the Earth when you're looking at the night sky?
Well, technically forever.
The shadow goes infinitely, so you again disagree with NASA, Seafoam. This will be the second time.
Well, the penumbra goes on forever. The umbra has an ending point.
Yeah, is it
Or no,
beyond the
it's
moon or
called
not?
I think it's called like the antumbra is the part that goes on forever.
Is it beyond the moon or not?
The antumbra, well, both the penumbra, umbra, and antumbra of Earth go beyond the moon. Yeah.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, you believe the shadow of Earth is what's causing nighttime. Is that correct?
No. What causes
Okay,
nighttime
so it's
is
not nighttime
No,
because of the shadow of you.
that's the way you can describe it. Like the nighttime on a globe Earth is you're basically in the shadow of the globe. You could say that.
well, yeah. When you're in the shadow, it is nighttime, but it's not like the shadow itself that causes nighttime.
Okay, how far out does that extend?
But what?
It's the absence of a light source that causes nighttime.
Yeah, how far out does that extend?
Are you saying how far does the shadow of the ball cast off into outer space in their model?
Yeah.
Well, they say far enough to hit the moon, so that's 250,000 miles.
Dude,
How do we
the
ever even
shadows.
see the moon?
So here, since I've moved my camera back, you can see the shadow is pretty much exactly circular. I mean, maybe if I did a smaller, this
Or
one's
have you
probably
seen?
more.
Yo, Seafoam, check out this thing I'm about to tag you in. The same thing, Tora. Shadows can go light years across, according to NASA. It's insane.
Yeah. Look at Joe Hamby's compared to this guy.
Well, they
It's
call
pretty-
this the bat shadow, right? I just posted it, and it looked like there's a video actually. Let me find the
I mean,
video.
like, as long as, so you see, this is the shadow of my phone here, this box. So as long as the camera is relatively close to being in line with the light source, the shadow on a sphere isn't going to be, very meaningfully distorted, even if I use like the edge of a book here.
Can you
can
do
see
it with
that
a cereal bowl now and see if it looks better?
a cereal bowl. I do not have a cereal bowl down here with me. I have
Okay, if it can be repeated with a cereal bowl, how did you rule out the cereal bowl?
a dinner plate. Does that work?
No, it have to be concave like a cereal bowl, like similar. Can you just cut that moon in half, maybe?
I mean, here, this plate is like sort of concave-ish.
I'm talking about if you took that ball, cut it in half, and then the shadow looks similar to the one on the moon. How did you rule that out as being the case?
Oh, like if the back half of the moon facing away from us is flat?
No. Do you know what a cereal bowl is?
Yeah.
Okay. So that would make, if you took that ball right there and you cut it in half, would you say you'd have a cereal bowl looking thing?
Like cut in half, like vertically like that?
Like a hemisphere, sounds like.
Yes, like a hemisphere. Okay. And then if the shadow was replicated the same exact, like everything looked exactly the same, how did you rule out it's not that?
Well, other observations of the moon strongly indicate that it has a spherical surface.
Okay. I'm just asking, how did you, like, how do you know if all of those observations could be reperformed on something hemispherical? How did you make sure that it's a sphere?
Well, at least the front half of the moon that we see is definitely spherical.
Yeah, which way? Spherical and which way? Coming out at you?
Yeah, like coming out at it, the side facing us, like the
How
side
could you
facing us.
possibly know that? Your mind can play a trick on you. You know that, right? That you can, like a 3D cube, you could bring the back to the front or the front to the back.
Right, but other observations of the moon definitely show that it's spherical in an outward direction.
Why do you say definitively as if you have proof? Like, what method did you use for that? Because from my understanding, there is no method that you could come to a definitive proof.
Okay, maybe definitive is a
multiple
strong
multiple
word, but
observers seeing it from different angles.
I believe that
Yeah,
different observations
multiple
of the moon that
observers
anyone
experiencing the same optical illusion, like the audience of a magic show, doesn't make it true.
Yeah. The point that I'm making is, how did you rule out the concave aspect? How did you rule that out? What made you say that's definitely not true?
well, observations of the craters over time definitely show that craters near the edges of the moon are sticking out from the surface, like outward rather than inward.
I didn't say the craters have to be sticking inward. The craters could be sticking outward. You don't think you could put a cereal bowl and then you put a bunch of fruity pebbles in it, you eat it all, and then there's fruity pebbles on it still? Those
Wait
are
up, wait up, wait up.
protruding
Have
out.
you wait? Can you
But,
do it? Can you do it at scale though?
Do what at scale?
The eclipse replication.
Well, at the
Have you seen this
most,
video?
probably the
Have you seen this video right here where I'm about to play? I'm about to play it, but it shows it's the shadow straight.
A photo. In reality, we see a curved shadow. Okay, let's see if the Earth,
which
here's our
there's
model,
like
let's see
30
if the Earth
screens
casts a
going on here.
round
I don't know which one
shadow
I'm looking at.
on the moon during the lunar eclipse. Okay, so we got our sun back there. Here's our Earth. Here's our moon. To
Also,
scale.
there's
See, we
two
got our pointing
Seafoam,
line.
so what's the claim of
And
30?
let's go halfway to scale right here.
I'm a very hyperbolic guy.
Going halfway scale.
Look,
Okay.
Look, it's straight though. Why is it straight?
So, a nice little flat shadow.
Well, it's looking straight because his camera isn't. You need your camera to be basically in the line of sight of the light, and you also want your camera to be very far away from your moving object.
More fuzzy because it's far away. Not what you would expect, right? And one more thing. Whenever you shine a light on a spherical object, it has a shiny spot. It's called a specular highlight. In real, on a full moon, we don't see a specular highlight. So that would be indicative of...
So your rebuttal to this is that it's because if he moved his camera back, it would be curved.
Yeah, like
Your
if he more or less tried to align it with what the globe model says, where, well, you know, like during a lunar
he's
eclipse,
aligned it way more than you have because it's to scale.
mine is also pretty, well, maybe not, but
no.
What I'm saying is, you want to have your camera in a similar position as you would be during a lunar eclipse. So in the lunar eclipse, you're in Earth's shadow because it's nighttime. So
Prove
you're
it.
basically in the globe model.
But hold on one second. So the dispersion of light, right? It's the same thing with the shadows. So like the further away the object is from the shadow, from the shadow casted like on it, essentially, it's going to look straighter and straighter in terms of the terminator line because the farther away the spherical object is from the observer, it's essentially going to just look like a circle, like a flat circle, or you know what I mean. So like that's how the distribution of the shadow is going to be. You don't see that with the lunar eclipse. Like we see, like I just
Right. With a lunar eclipse, we see a curved shadow on the moon, not a straight one.
Okay, wait, whatever.
Right.
Time out. So even with your demonstration, you're saying that if you took the camera and moved it up, it would straighten out the line?
Yeah, if I reset that demonstration and put my camera right up close, then the line would curve every which way. But if you have the camera,
well, would it be straight though?
if you align the camera, it could be any shape. It could be curved, inward, outward, or straight,
Wait,
depending
so
on
it's
how you
not
have your
about
camera.
proximity. It's about like the exact angle. You're saying this
The
guy is
angle.
intentionally holding it at a very specific angle and proximity to make it look
Yeah,
straight.
it's about angle and proximity. Yes. So with
A
my
sphere. That's
demonstration,
a sphere.
with my demonstration, I had my camera pretty far away from the moon object, and
You
also very close to the object casting the shadow. My camera was basically
yeah, you also had two balls that were like the same size that weren't to scale at all of the model. You obviously had a much bigger ball, which is actually what makes it straight.
well. I mean, like
Have you
I
tested
could
what you're
use
saying, or
this.
are you just saying it?
Well, what I'm saying basically is for any spherical surface, if you're far away from it and you're basically in the line of sight of the light source, the shadows on that sphere aren't going to be distorted by much. So in the globe model, when you have the lunar eclipse, where the moon is 250,000 miles away, and you're in Earth's shadow when you're viewing it, you have that property where you have the right perspective angle and distance from the moon, where the shadow isn't going to be distorted.
Blur
Whereas,
perspective.
whereas in your video, he was holding his camera right up to the moon and had his camera off to the side.
So then you should be able to take your camera and move it up and it make it straight.
Yeah, I can totally do that.
Thing is, he showed a sphere casting a curved shadow. That's what you said that couldn't happen.
And that's
Here,
that, says Left Lane. Thank you, Left Lane, for your
let me
contribution.
reset up my little doohickey here.
I never had a problem with the curved shadow on the moon.
What are you
It's an
showing here, Joe?
eclipse and the shadow that is coming from top to down. That's the only problem when you finish engaging with that
Oh
because
yeah, there you go. Look what Joe's
you have
showing
an
right now.
eclipse. You have an eclipse. It's not all eclipses are the same. You have a lunar eclipse where the shadow is coming from the top of the moon to down. That's a giant,
I mean,
big problem there.
yeah, not just eclipses, but like
No, it's not.
just the moon phases themselves as well. Like that's a crazy.
That's no
Yeah.
problem either.
The lunar eclipse
Here, I'm
actually,
gonna start.
the lunar eclipse
Yeah, what's
actually has the lunar.
the problem?
You
Hold on,
guys,
Jake. Jake,
Joe's
Joe's
trying to get
talking.
in.
The lunar eclipse also has a
You got it, Joe. Go ahead.
the lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse also has a double shadow. Well, what they call a shadow. I believe it's a lensing effect, but you can see it here. It's recorded often by astrophotographers. There's a blue edge to the shadow, and then you get the red coloration. It starts out
Oh,
black, and you can see the double.
that's called a chromatic
I've never heard
aberration.
Joe talk in here without getting interrupted, Gio. I don't know what you need to do with this room, but like something has to be done, dude.
Okay, maybe he cut out on my end. I heard him stop.
There,
That's on
Yeah, I
me.
thought he stopped.
Joe,
Yes,
yeah,
because
there was a bit of a lag delay, but still, you guys just let him explain
Yeah.
his point fully. Come on.
so we get this double shadow line. Even when it starts, you'll see a light shadow area leading the darker shadowed area. As it progresses, that light shadow area gets a bluish hue to it as the fullness of the dark shadow begins to turn red. And then the shadow actually makes almost a 90-degree turn. So you have to account all of that if you're going to model a lunar eclipse.
Right. You were lagging a
Well,
bit, but I heard that last part. You have to take account of all that when modeling a lunar eclipse. Yep. And you are correct, Seafoam. That is called chromatic aberration. I do know about that just because I play video games. So yes.
Well, looking at
The globe has an explanation for this. They don't call it a chromatic aberration. They have an explanation for the blue color and the red color. Look
Wait, really?
Yeah.
it up.
Looking at the picture,
Yes.
I wasn't actually looking. I assumed he was talking about chromatic aberration, but it kind of looked more like a white balance issue to me. But anyways, on my stream, I have it set up again where I have that you know, well, my phone is really
Yeah,
stupid when
it's
it
just
comes
still
to
curving.
right. So it's curving, right? That's because I'm quite far away from the moon
Okay.
object.
Uh-huh.
But if I come up close to my moon object and zoom out, from this angle, I can make it pretty much straight. I can make it concave. I can make it convex.
Well, it's curving. I don't see it straight.
Right there, it's pretty much straight. I mean, if I
No,
curve
it's
my
not. It's curving off to the right, bro.
Dude, the cog disc, Seafoam. Why are you allowing that to happen?
No, y'all are being so fucking dishonest right now.
Wait. You're
It's
saying
Curving
that
goes
that's not
down to the right.
curving down to the right?
Right where his yellow square, like right there.
Yeah, right
Yep,
there.
right there.
It
that
does
looks
look a
pretty
little more
darn.
straight. I mean, at the top, it looks a little more straight. I'll give you that.
I mean, like
But now go
it's
back.
finicky.
Can you keep it in the frame and back up?
Yeah, let me get a stool.
I mean, it's definitely still curving, but it looks a little more straight. I just want to see how much it changes. Because I mean, if I'm wrong, I'll happily admit it and not say it again.
I mean, like it's a little finicky getting the right angle. But like maybe if I turn down the exposure a bit.
So
I
it's a
got too much
post-production
crap on my
effect? Is that
screen.
what you're claiming, Seafoam?
He's claiming
No,
the
no.
proximity and angle makes the curved line look straighter.
Right. So like right now I'm way outside of being near the moon, right? But if I scoop myself closer where you can see the shadow of my phone gets closer to the moon,
Look how much that's curving, bro.
now it's curving because we're closer to being in line with the light source. But when you go
Isn't that
out of line, from the light source, that's when it turns straight.
It looks straighter. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
but so okay? But we're talking about the moon, sun, and Earth alignment.
So if we just imagine the globe model real quick, during a lunar eclipse, the sun, moon, and Earth are all in a straight line, right?
Correct.
And because you're
Yeah.
viewing the lunar eclipse from the nighttime side of Earth, then you would be inside Earth's shadow. So your eye line would also
But
be.
you are not in the Earth's shadow.
Yeah, Salanillion kind of blows that out of the water, doesn't it?
No, he's more in
Oh,
the Earth
y'all be
shadow
silly,
now.
man.
Dude, Leftlane, why
His
do you even say
observation point.
anything if
Because you're
everything
viewing
you
it
say?
from the
Why
dark
are you
side.
interrupting
You're
me? Why are you
viewing it at
interrupting me? Why
night.
are you interrupting me? Why are you
Because
interrupting me?
you're
Why are you
asking
interrupting
why
me?
I'm doing
Why are you
that.
inter- I
You're
didn't ask anything.
viewing an
You interrupted
eclipse
me.
from the
I
dark
didn't get to
side
ask
of the
anything.
globe.
You interrupted me. Leftlane, how do you know what I'm asking? You interrupted me. We do not need you to consistently just jump in and talk about how we're stupid or ridiculous. You never say anything of substance relevant to the point. It's literally
Yeah, good.
pointless.
Just go ahead and berate me a little bit and poison the well a little bit.
That's what you're doing. The last 3 comments you've made was you guys are ridiculous. You guys are so stupid.
You
guys
are. I'm
just
calling
making
you out because you're being dishonest.
Oh, isn't that funny? So whenever I point out how you're behaving, you cry about it, but then you just justify that's all you're doing. Grow up.
Nice.
It's so annoying, bro.
Be
Like
more
we're
like
trying to have a
Seafoam,
conversation.
Like he's petting a cat. He's doing his best
So we
to
do.
defend his
So
side.
we do observe the lunar eclipse from the dark side of the Earth, right? And we're in the dark when we're watching the lunar eclipse, right?
When did anyone deny that?
So
We can
that's the
model it,
thing.
too.
So that's the thing.
I have the shadow of my phone right by the shadow. I guess this Christmas ornament thing here is the shadow of Earth. So when I have my phone basically in line with the light source and the moon, that's when you get that really curved. Oops. That's when you get that
So
really curved shadow. Is when you're also in line with the light source. But if I move way over, so I'm not in line with the light source, that's when the perspective starts to make it straighten
Look
out a bit.
straighter. Yeah, that's true. It does.
So it means when we see a straight line on the lunar eclipse, then we are no longer on Earth.
Right, but during a
We're
lunar
off to the
eclipse,
left, of Earth a little bit, but we've
but
got it
during
here. Joe Hamby's got it modeled physically, like
yeah,
how it
but
looks in reality.
when we look at a lunar eclipse in reality, Dell, we always see the shadow. Oh, I think my light died. Well, that's
Joe,
that for that.
can you turn your phone so it becomes bigger on your screen? Seafoam, check out Joe's screen real quick.
My freaking light died. Okay, no more demonstration from Seafoam.
No, you're good. Hey, Seafoam, props for at least giving us a demonstration and defending your side.
Yeah, for
Trying to.
sure. What you're saying is true. Like it does change.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm looking at Joe's thing. I see like a red thing.
Yeah, Joe, can you turn your phone so it becomes bigger? There we go. Nice. Now, can you explain what's going on here in your video?
So yeah, like inside of an enclosed structure, you're gonna get a coffee cup caustic. I call it the sun caustic. And because of Rayleigh scattering, it's gonna be in the far red spectrum. So you're not gonna see it physically with your eyes because it's in the far red. It's out of the visual spectrum. When the full moon and the sun caustic zone intersect at the ecliptic plane, we get a lunar eclipse. The shadow is not a shadow, it's a lensing effect. This is why we get a double shadow. This is why we get the ultraviolet edge. And this is why we get the red color. And this is why we get the 90-degree turn.
But how is it that everybody on Earth that can see the moon during the lunar eclipse all sees the same shadow from completely
Because
different angles on the flat Earth?
the sky works like a kaleidoscope, dude.
Well,
It's personal to you.
not everybody sees a full eclipse either. There's a full eclipse path. There's an annular, a penumbra eclipse path, and then there's the far edge where you hardly see any effect at all.
Are we talking about a lunar
Well,
eclipse here or a solar
that's for
eclipse?
solar eclipses.
Are we
Lunar
talking about a
eclipse
lunar eclipse?
for lunar eclipses,
Hold
everyone
on, hold
sees
on,
the
hold on.
same.
I want to hear if Joe Hamby's talking about a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse.
That's a good
Talking
question.
about a lunar eclipse.
Okay,
This
so
is
You're
your
saying the
expert
people
here,
that are
Joe
in
Hamby,
daytime.
the
You're
guy that
saying
you
the
guys are
people in
saying,
daytime see the
okay,
lunar
are you
eclipse.
you're
That's
gonna
their
step
claim.
all over me? No. What he claimed is obviously completely false. Everybody that can see the moon during a lunar eclipse sees the same eclipse.
That's not a debunk of
So,
anything.
so your friend Joe Hamby here, who's this expert on modeling this, doesn't even know that. He's talking about some people see it full, some people see it partial, some
Okay,
people
we're
that's
not gonna do
completely
poisoning the
wrong.
well,
No, that's
dude.
true. That's true about solar eclipses. The point about everyone seeing it doesn't change anything in our position. Do you understand that? Do you
Here's the
And can
thing
we
understand
for
it?
acknowledge here that Joe Hamby, your expert here, didn't know that during a lunar
This is
eclipse,
called
everybody sees the
poisoning the
identical
well,
eclipse?
Jake.
God,
Dude, what are you
Zero
doing?
hole in here. He's got to come here and defend what was so blatantly wrong about your expert at modeling all this stuff. And he didn't know that during a lunar eclipse, everyone on Earth that can see the moon sees the same eclipse.
Oh my God, he didn't know something.
Well,
Hang him out to
he
dry.
just explained
So
what happened
what?
to the solar eclipse instead of a lunar eclipse, and that doesn't change anything about the fact that you're avoiding the claim you just made. You can laugh all you want to, but you will not respond to me. Where what you claim
Yeah,
somehow
that's
debunks flat
etched in
Earth.
stone there.
There's Left Lane saying something that's absolutely worthless again. So you can't actually address what I'm saying to you, apparently, which is that you understand why that doesn't actually debunk our position. I don't think you do.
Why people on Earth all see the same eclipse from coming to different locations on the flat Earth?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have some magical bendy sky that works with some unknown physics, so that everybody sees the same.
Oh, use a
Everybody sees
straw
the same
man.
face.
Let's go with a
Everybody
straw
sees.
man.
Everybody sees the same face, and they all see the same eclipse from different locations and different angles all around the flat Earth for some unknown reason. It's a magical
so funny
kaleidoscope
that
sky.
it's so funny that magical bendy sky is totally cool for 99% of your explanations of observations, though, huh? Magical bendy sky is totally acceptable when it comes to the Selenilian eclipse that can be predicted months in advance. When it comes to long distance observations, when it comes to misplacement of stars, misplacement of planets, misplacements of the sun and the
Version.
moon. That's okay. Magical bendy
You're
sky is all of a
You're
sudden
rambling now.
When it
The-
comes
the
to
magic-
Selenelian eclipses, I haven't seen many that show the disk of the moon and the disk of the sun at the same time. I've mostly only ever seen ones where it's like a lunar eclipse, but it's sort of light outside. But I haven't
Is the
really
black
seen any.
swan is the excuse for the black swan that there is a magical bendy sky or not?
They're regularly observed where you see both the sun and the moon both above the horizon simultaneously. By the way, the thing from what Jake, what you were trying to try to make kind of a dramatic thing about Joe. Joe, weren't you just talking about different types of eclipses? Like there's annular, partials, total. I think that's what you were referring to, right? That there's different types of eclipses depending on the type of eclipse. Whereas Jake, I think, was talking about.
Well, I was saying the demonstration. Yeah, I was saying the demonstration was dealing with the lunar eclipse. I didn't mean to. I did say lunar eclipse people see, so I was wrong there. I admit that. Like I'm not gonna try to shirk that off. But yeah, the solar eclipse is where we see a direct path. But yeah, a full lunar eclipse, everybody's gonna see that. But if it's gonna be modeled, we have to account for not only the double shadow effect. We also have to account for the color change. And the globe does have an explanation for those things, but we can also model those things assuming a flat Earth inside of an enclosed structure.
Well, so here's the part that
the
gets
double
really interesting,
shadow
right?
thing-
So you would. What's up?
Oh, go ahead. I'll let you
Well,
go.
okay, so the thing is, you guys can't even explain a rainbow, and the rainbow literally requires culmination of light. So you guys can't even replicate a rainbow in your model. Literally, you literally can't. And of course, we can. We're invoking containment. What's up?
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm
For
about to
what you
explain it to you, but let's take it step at a time. Who's jumping in?
I think Seafoam wants to respond.
Necros, I wanted to say something about what you just said earlier concerning the magical bendy sky. So yeah, they can use the magical bendy sky to just explain the position of the moon and the sun. Still, if you have the moon and the sun being refracted up to be visible above the horizon, the shadow doesn't need to appear going from the top to of the moon to down. Doesn't need to do that. It can do that. It's not refraction that is doing that. That's just the absence of the light.
Yeah. But just so the reason that I'm bringing up the rainbow, it isn't just a random thing, even though that's actually what started this conversation. And I was kind of trying to wait to say it, but whatever. But it actually ties into this. So you guys literally can't explain rainbows because you need a collimator of light. You don't have that, right? You don't have a collimator, but you have to have one. You can't even replicate one indoors without
Don't need one.
No, yes,
don't
you do.
need one.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
No, you don't. No, you could
Well, that's
spray
funny.
some water
That's
and
funny.
a
When
light and a
Stanford-
light source, and you can make a rainbow.
Indoors?
Yes, indoors.
No, that's funny because whenever
You
Stanford
can.
and Harvard did it, they needed a collimator. So please show me your demonstration because Stanford and Harvard are retards, I guess, according to Left Lane. So go ahead.
I've seen a rainbow at
can't do
work
it
when sunlight shone through the window at the sink.
Sunlight is begging the question. This is the thing. Whenever these are actually experimented on by high-level university experiments, they have to use a collimator, right, indoors, or it can't be replicated. Now, here's the point of that. When you have a collimation of light, then it literally affects of collimation of light is that the angular size doesn't change and that there's an apparent position. So it literally supports the fact that we would expect to see it the same everywhere on the Earth. And we can actually explain rainbows, which what do you know? What rainbows require give us no angular size change and give us an apparent position. And you
It's
guys
so
can't
simple.
even
It's so simple.
you can't even replicate and explain a rainbow.
That is silly for you to say that.
What's
Is
a
that all you guys
collimator?
got to say? Like, can you? Do you guys
That's
have?
not actually
Do
a
you have a
rebuttal, my guy.
rebuttal?
Yeah.
Like an actual rebuttal?
It's just
Yeah.
wrong.
Okay, is
A
he wrong about?
collimator.
Hold on, wait. Is he wrong about Stanford not needing a collimator? Are you saying that they didn't need one?
I don't know anything about Stanford. I could make a fucking
Oh, you don't know
rainbow in
anything
my
about it.
garage.
So shut
When
up.
I get home in the morning, I'll get up and I'll go out to the shop, close all the doors, and I'll make you a rainbow.
You can close all the windows.
Yeah, are you
We-
gonna
we
use
just-
a light source? What light
we
source are you gonna
just-
use?
No, we'll just wait for this mythical observation that'll never happen.
What's a
what do you mean
collimator
by
do?
collimator? Yeah, thank you.
So
Because I
I
know
think
mirror. I can use a mirror to
Wait.
replicate rainbow.
Seafoam, you trying to get in?
a collimator would be something that makes light rays parallel.
There you go.
Yeah.
So like
which is
in,
it does the same thing a mirror is gonna do.
Yeah.
yeah, you can use a parabolic mirror as a collimator if you put the light source at the focal point of a parabolic mirror.
Yeah,
Oh,
but they
that's
just typically
crazy
use-
because
they use collimators, right? Like because it's more precise.
that's so wild because the Book of Job says that the sky's like a hard cast mirror. Huh? Crazy.
So like it's just a fact. Like when these universities study rainbows and they do the replications indoors, they have to use a collimator.
Yeah. We just
So
light
Left just
all-
saying no, and I'm retarded. So I guess he's gonna shatter all of like known physics tomorrow in his garage. He says.
I wonder if
Yeah.
you had layers of Atmos like that, you could possibly even make that. Because I think in between layers of Atmos, you get like a mirroring effect as well, which explains all of the horizon phenomena that you
There
guys
is a
claim
Nobel-
is because there's a invisible mountain in between you and something. Yeah.
There is a Nobel Prize waiting for Left Lane tomorrow because he will be the first one. The first one.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's just completely.
No, it's on YouTube. Look it up. It's on YouTube.
We've all seen the one on YouTube.
This might be a little bit off topic, but a cool thing with collimated light is if I look through the back of one of my telescopes without any eyepieces, nothing changes size with perspective. Like everything that's the same size stays the same size no matter how big it is. It's a really strange effect.
With what? Yeah, like that's what I was saying. Like if you use a collimator, what's so interesting is that nothing changes angular size, and you're going to get an apparent position of what you're observing relative to the observer angle. This is like, is that a coincidence, guys? Is it a coincidence that if you actually use a collimator or a surface that replicates a collimation of light, right? Just like we know that is required for a rainbow indoors, that so clearly it exists somewhere outside. Something is acting as a collimator outside. And what a coincidence. Your whole debunk of flat earth is that, oh, the angular size doesn't change. And like we know that everything has to be in apparent position and angular size doesn't change. Well, that's exactly what we would expect to see with some type of surface acting as a collimator. So like ironically, like almost every single topic of this conversation, we have a viable explanation that can be replicated in real life and you guys don't.
It's over, dude. It's like super over. You guys asked for the model, you asked for physical model, you asked for a computer model. They're all there. They're every single one of them. You guys should just be like throwing in the towel. Or maybe you guys are flat earthers because you do hang out here a lot. So that does make sense.
And then think about this, when you see the rainbow, right? It looks like an arc. When you pop up, it looks like a circle. Yeah, because everything is changing relative to observer position. Everything we see in the sky is apparent because it's all interacting with the surface that acts as a collimator. So literally what we observe on Earth, if it's flat, is what is expected, and it's the only physically possible way to replicate what we observe. Now the ball's in your court. It's your turn to show us some type of physics.
Thing. I see like a red thing.
Yeah, Joe, can you turn your phone so it becomes big?